Mhm.
All right. Hey guys, welcome back for our third session. There was some technical glitch earlier with internet. There was some internet issue with Aniruddha's side. So we're moving on now. We have Brian here, who is the founder and CEO for Smart Ops. They are working in solving remote patient tracking. So in today's time, when we have the pandemic going on, and we all need to know, people around us, if they have the symptoms, or who are the people infected around us, it's something that can really solve us and help us have a foolproof solution. So over to you, Brian.
Okay, thank you, Manoj. Uh, okay, hello guys. Just a little bit of clarifications. We don't actually do patient tracking in that sense. We do patient monitoring in the sense of vital sign monitoring. Okay. Just quickly, I would share with you today our project. First is the project objective and how it works, then go to the solution bit, and followed by a demo, a live demo of the solution we have put together. Um, Hopefully that will give you a good idea. My presentation is pretty short, uh, not exactly very technical. Let me just move on. Now, project objectives. One of the big issues that we are facing over the years in implementing hospital IT projects um, or electronic medical record projects for hospitals, um, we find that one of the major issue is to share patient data between healthcare providers. It's always frustrating when you have to go from hospital A to hospital B for a second opinion, and then they'll be asking you questions, the same question over and over again in hospital A, that you wish that the file can be just transferred over, or they ask you something that what happened to you in 10 years ago, disease onset, was it 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Not many of us can remember that. And also, patients tend not to have a complete picture or view of his or her electronic health record. It's something that we are trying to achieve. That we can keep a record of our health uh, records. I mean, so that wherever we go, let's say if I go to India, I go to London, I go to Argentina, so I just have a scan on the QR code on the website, then I can have access to all my discharge summary, my medications, my past histories, medical histories. That will be very useful for a lot of people. And then now the third thing is that even if you have a electronic health record, health portal, how that you can take data from multiple submitted by the different hospitals. How do we verify that the data is really from that hospital? A lot of the data may be sent through email, through uploads. How does a site verify that the person who uploads the data is actually the hospital that they are targeting? Okay. Then the other issue is the privacy. This is where uh, we use IOTA to create the self-sovereign ID to keep the patient's ID anonymous. When we register patients in our applications, even the app, we do not ask for the patient's email or telephone numbers and all. So the whole idea is that even the worst case is the whole health portal is hacked or compromised. You don't know who the data belong to. It's just a bunch of data. Okay, so that is the privacy by design part. And also, key thing is how do we ensure that the patients have the ultimate say who can view or read their data on the health portal? Meaning that, let's say I go from hospital A, I've seen the doctor, data is uploaded, okay, now then I want a second opinion. I'll go to hospital B. So hospital B doctor view the data, but once the moment I'm done with hospital B, I got my second opinion, I can go to the website or through the app and say, okay, I do not want hospital B doctor access my data anymore after that episode. So these are the things that we're trying to achieve, as part of the project objectives. How it works, this is an extremely high level, what you call that, architecture. I wouldn't even call it architecture. It's high level overview of how we put this together. Now, in the middle, the EHR is electronic health record. This is where our so-called lifetime health records are supposed to sit there, that we can get access of data from multiple hospitals or clinics or home care centers, or even your own data that you generate from home through your Bluetooth devices, for example. It can be captured and uploaded to the electronic health record. Now, and then at outer layer and IOTA provides the, most importantly, the self-sovereign ID to keep you anonymous, to keep, so that nobody know which data it belongs to or which data it belongs to you, only you with your SSID. And then the other thing is that IOTA also provides the means to verify the data integrity from the various hospitals, okay? And then the web browser and MISI app, MISI is the app that we developed, is to interact with the EHR to access the patient records, your records, patient record, which I will show you a bit later on the live demo. Okay, now, self-sovereign digital health ID, how does it work? Okay, for the app or the MISI app, the patient in this sense, or the hospital which wish to participate in this whole ecosystems, each one of them will have their own SSID or self-sovereign ID, okay, digital ID or so-called, which will be generated in terms of the patient side. It will be generated by the MISI app, and the hospital, SmartOps, our company, we will generate a digital ID for them, which will be stored in the IOTA Tangle. Okay, now for any onboarding, right after that, any patient or hospital who wish to get on board, their SSID will be verified and signed by the SmartOps portal right here, meaning that once they generate the SSID, it has to be countersigned by SmartOps Health Portal or the HR here to say, okay, I verified that you are part of this ecosystem. Okay, likewise for the healthcare provider. Okay, so then now for let's say a patient, after the patient received the SSID and wants to visit a hospital, then the app will present to the hospital the patient's sovereign ID, in which the hospital will verify against the IOTA streams or verify it against the IOTA network, if you like. Okay. Likewise, the patients will use a MISI app to verify the hospital's ID, whether, hey, is it the right hospital? Is it the hospital really registered as part of the SmartOps healthcare EHR ecosystem? So it's a vice versa. It's a what you call that? Two-way verifications Okay, so this is to ensure that there is no virtual hospitals or virtual patient created in terms of a fraud or something. Okay, so this is the bit. Now, coming to the solution, this is what we have developed. We work with these Bluetooth medical devices, so that patients can take their temperatures, so their blood pressure, their oxygen saturation or SpO2 at home, and immediately it will send to the gateway. The gateway has IOTA wallets in it, so that makes it a device that you can verify you can sign the data and send it to the health portal for the dashboard. So what that makes it is that you can authenticate it authenticates the data so that you can make the data that's trustworthy to be able to send it to the health portal. Okay, once it's gone to the health portal, it will display in the dashboard so that the hospital staff, the doctors, nurses, and all can look at them and check on their vitals, and is the blood pressure is going too high? So for COVID patients, is their oxygen concentrations drop below, say, 90 or 93? You know, something to watch out for. So this is for them to monitor remotely, and this is something very useful, especially like to say COVID case. Hospital is we call this overcrowded with patients, not enough beds. So you want to send some patients home to be quarantined at home. So this will be a kind of solution that you can send back to the hospital to monitor the patients. Okay. Now, these are the devices that we have connected so far. On the left is the vital sign monitor, which is 5 parameters, and glucometer, oximeter, blood pressures, and baby thermometer. Okay, just give you a few of it. Okay, I'll get straight to my demo, which I think this is probably a bit more interesting. Just give me a second. Okay. Now, okay. Just a second. Let me get to my handphone. Okay, if my phone, you see this little app here, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna start. Interestingly, we use a B as our logo, and now IOTA is calling allow the new applications B and Hornet and so forth. Interestingly, so okay, these are the devices that are connected to my handphone: blood pressure, blood glucose, and oximeter. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the portal. Here's a QR code. Okay, there you go. Okay, I'm going to scan here. Now, I'm logging in as a care provider, meaning that, hang on. I could be a doctor or nurses who just log in. Okay, now you will see this. You have 2 patients showing up here, Mr. Pikachu and Brian here. Okay, so when I click in here, what I'm seeing is, okay, this is the blood pressure of Mr. Pikachu. Is this Mr. Pikachu? Yes, it is. Maybe I'll show you the other one. I'll probably get more data. Okay, so blood pressure data, glucose, SpO2. This is oxygen concentrations, temperature, and then this is a vital sign monitor, which I don't have data because this is actually some of them are actually my real data that I'm playing with. So this one is data. I will not. These are different presentations of the data. This will give you a few of it. And then I'm going to show, okay, and I can also get a summary view of my patients. Okay, the 10 days average of a blood pressure, 20 days, 30 days, and all the rest. Okay, so this gives the doctors and nurses a quick eyes view, bird's view of the patient. So this is using what you call this color coding to indicate the severity of the patient conditions. Red means high pressure too high, green is okay, and so forth. So now what I want to show you now is during the patient setup, when I want to add a new patient, now I'm from the hospital side. So, okay, when I add, I don't key in the patient's ID here. It's scanned, so I will just pretend I'm going to be the patient. Okay, so as a patient, I will scan. Okay, it's processing. It's checking against the Tanger. Okay. Now, if you look at my handphone here on the screen, you see that allow sign up to web portal. It actually asks you, now, okay, are you connecting? You know, you want to join this Smart Op demo? Okay, could be Smart Op Hospital and or Hospital ABC here. Is it the right one? Because this is what is recorded on the Tanger. If you can cancel as a patient, or you can say allow. Let's say I say allow. Okay, if you just come out here, then for the hospital side, I need to match the patient in the health portal to my hospital data. So let's say the patient MRN medical record number in the hospital is 123. Then I just put Brian, my name here. Okay, ignore the iota address, something we need to get rid of. So here and then say, okay, I'm not dead. Okay, let's say not dead yet. Anyway, so okay. So these are the optional items. Let's say NRIC numbers and all, and address is subject to the hospital whether they want to key or not. They are not compulsory. What is compulsory? How the way we design it is an MRN number, so that because it needs to tie to the hospital record, so that in future we can use that to connect to the hospital through what you call this HL7 or Health Level 7 Standard Healthcare IT protocol to pull, let's say, lab results, discharge summaries, radiology reports, push it to the internet. I push it to the health portal, sorry. Okay, so I'm going to add it in. So see, I've just added myself to the health portal. I mean, as a patient. So you see that through here to the app and all. When you want to add a patient, the patient needs to be validated by the hospital, and also the patient will say, okay, yes, I acknowledge this. This is the right hospital I'm going to be part of. Okay, so okay, there's that. I've got provider. No. Okay, what else I can show you? Similarly, for the user setup as well, if I want to add another doctor, add another nurses, this is where I would ask them, okay, please scan the QR code. They need to use a MISI app to scan and log in. Okay, so this is a rotating QR code, so you can see the underneath the bar there is running. You just keep, I think it's a 5 or 10 seconds will change it. Okay, so this is that. The rest I won't bore you with the rest of the designs. Okay, I think there's probably, yes, I think that's all I have for my demo, and I think with this I will end my sessions. Am I running too fast?
Yeah, no, so there are a couple of questions for you, Brian.
Okay.
So I will, I'll just repeat the questions what people have asked. So the first question is, how do you organize all the hospitals to use your services?
How do we organize other hospital to use our services?
Yeah, yes, like to use smart ops as a.
Okay, the hospital. That's why we try to go in with remote patient monitoring. One of the hospital we work with is their issue is they don't have enough beds. Of course, this is before the MCO. Okay, so before this COVID-19 lockdown. Every night they have to what you call this reject 5 to 10 patients and send them to other hospitals, which is bad for business. So one of the thing they want to do is just in order to free up the hospital beds. They say, okay, those reasonably recovered patients, instead of keeping them in the hospital for another 1 or 2 nights for observation, they say, okay, we send you back. Then please take along with you one blood pressure monitor and one oximeter home. And then tomorrow we will probably send a nurse over to drop by and say hi. But meanwhile, use the device to send the data back to the hospital so that they can monitor. In case that, let's say, for example, if the oxygen saturations is running too low, they can give the patient a call and say, maybe you should be coming into the hospital for readmissions and all those, or they can send a doctor quickly, then go over and have a look. So this is an incentive for the hospital, because when they free up beds, they actually helps the hospital to generate more revenue, because for hospitals, after the third day of inpatient stays, there is not much profit already, because most of the major lab tests or imaging services are done on the first 2 days. I think that's how we see, the incentive for the hospital who want to join. But we're still slowly growing, so that's how we get in. So first place is the remote patient monitoring. That's how we get into the hospital. Okay, I hope that answer your questions. Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, are we making the data lake of all the patients' health records, data in hospitals, where the information of patients are masked? What is being referred to as SSID, which could be public, private key, and shadow. So basically, they are asking that if the patient records, the data records, and all the hospital records are being masked and shared across IOTA network to other hospitals.
No, okay. First is the data, the patient data, we do not store it on the IOTA Tangle. It's only the, the SSID, the cert. We do not store the data there, because to store the entire health records on the Tangle is not something viable for now, and it will be just too slow. I work with hospital for 20 over years. Fast response is a must. I think if you don't give the doctor a response within 3 seconds, they won't use the system. So for now, no.
Okay. The next question is, what is the input device for the blockchain?
What is the input device for the blockchain? I don't quite understand the
So basically, I'm trying to understand, how are you inputting the information onto IOTA, or how are you taking the information that is getting secured by the DLT?
Okay. Okay, I suppose you are talking about the patient data here. How do we get the patient data?
Patient's data, that's right.
Yeah, okay. The patient data, we store it on our own health portal. We do not store it on the IOTA Tangle, like I mentioned just now. So it's a database. It's not a blockchain database. It's just a normal database. We just stick in there. We found the name with a reference to the call that to the SSID.
Okay.
Of the patients, yeah, to index it.
All right. We just have 3 more questions. So third last is the patient's data is there between the patient and the hospital, but what about security of patient's data? So they're saying, asking basically the data, patient's data is with the patient and the hospital. So when you are taking the data of the patient, how are you ensuring the security of the data?
Okay. How are we it's a status? Okay, I think I'm probably not the best person to answer these questions. Okay, what I know is, okay, I'm not technical. What I know from my colleague who developed the whole thing is that the patient data will be encrypted through some, it says through some hashings and all. Okay, I have to apologize. I'm not technical enough
That is fine. And if it's okay with you, you can always let us know the answer, and we will convey it to the member who had asked this question.
Yeah, I tell you what, maybe okay. Here is my contact. You can just look for me. Maybe throw me the question. Whoever is interested, look up for me on the Discord. Then just post me the question. I'll get my team to help address it.
Sure, we will do that. We'll do that. So the question will get Brian will get back with the answer. So we'll ask him, and he can get back with the answer. All right. The last 2 questions is: do you have any other competitor? Any other company that is working on the same?
Yeah. Okay. There are a lot of companies doing remote health monitoring or remote patient monitoring for that matter. There are a lot. We're not, but I think we're the only one that uses digital ID for. I could be wrong, but I don't know any other company that does that. Because most company would say, I want your name, I want your email, so that I can sell your data. But we are taking the other route. We're saying that no, we don't want to know you. Even my data there, I also don't know what is my SSID to be honest. I don't. So we're taking a very different route, if you like.
Okay. So yes, somebody just wanted you to, so that they can just check your details from here. And last question is IOTA building dApps or apps now? Like the company, the foundation itself?
No, I don't think the foundation builds apps. They build a lot of tools to enable the everybody else to build apps. I think they're it's probably good for you to look at the ecosystem.iota.org. You can find a lot of interesting projects over there. Just browse through the iota.org. I think under the ecosystem, there's a lot of things there. You can check with. For us, we are focusing on healthcare and the digital ID and see how far we can go with that. There's our little ambitions, if you like.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Brian, for this lovely session and sharing about the use case that you guys are building on. Now we'll have a last session with Sam where we will be learning about a few more things about IOTA. Thank you.
Thank you, Mana. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.